How are you all doing? Welcome back to What's the Dill, episode 51. I was really excited to get episode 50 down. Just that number, seeing that number of 50 episodes and kind of like, wow, that's quite an accomplishment. Now it's on to 51, on to the next 50, and however many more. But welcome back to this episode. I hope you're all doing well. Pentecost is coming up soon. Ascension Thursday/Sunday just happened. Still in the Easter season. I hope it's going really well for you. It's gone very fast for me. I cannot believe how fast 2023 is going. I cannot believe how fast this Easter season is going. I cannot believe how fast Lent is going. It is just flying by for me. I don't know if it's the same for you. I don't know if we all have that shared consciousness where, time going very fast for me might be going very slow for you. But I feel like that's something very easy. If you say like, hey man, this year's going so fast, people are just like, yes, they nod aggressively. Yep, it is going so fast. So this year's been going fast. This episode is about something that just came out in the news. The pandemic is over. You may have heard that. But there's a new epidemic. There is a new epidemic, and the Surgeon General just came out with a study, an official Surgeon General's warning and study. You know how, like, smoking, Surgeon General's warning, hey, cigarettes are bad. And people are probably like, nah, these can't be bad. Inhaling smoke into my lungs, this can't be bad. Well, a new Surgeon General's warning study just came out this month. And it's about an epidemic. Pandemic's over. That was in the news earlier this year. A new epidemic which has been brewing is officially here, that the government and the Surgeon General feels like we need to address deeply and we need to do something about and recognize. And that epidemic is the epidemic of loneliness. The Surgeon General officially came out with a study on the epidemic of loneliness in America. Now, that is quite a abstract thought to have a study on, right? Like loneliness. Where does that come from? Loneliness is, I think when I think of loneliness, I think of someone who is holed up in an apartment because they're just going through a breakup and they're just like, yeah, I'm just feeling lonely right now because I don't have that special person in my life. But more deeply, loneliness is that separation from a deep relationship with the people around us and the society around us and the culture around us, like a disconnectedness from that. But what's crazy is how rampant loneliness is. And you might be hearing this and you might be like, yes, I experienced loneliness. You might be one of the lucky ones who say, hey, I don't even know what that is. I got people, I got friends, I got family, I got communities. I'm good. I never feel lonely. But loneliness is a real problem in America. And not only does it have like emotional and spiritual effects, it has physical effects. So what is loneliness? Again, this disconnectedness from the people and society around us that makes us feel isolated and alone. And like we're the only people who don't have this joyous life that we can tap into. This study, this article, something you should look up. The Surgeon General of the U.S. wrote an article in the New York Times, but also has this greater study, and then there's some articles and studies on this study that are very interesting and important to look at. So that's what loneliness is. What does this study say? Well, I'm going to read a little bit here, some of the very powerful statistics about loneliness. The lack of social connection poses a significant risk for individual health and longevity. So not just spiritual, but physical risks to our bodies because of loneliness. Like, think about that. There are physical ailments that are the result of being lonely. That is insane. Like, that is why we're addressing this, should be addressing this as a country. Loneliness and social isolation increase the risk of premature death by 26 and 29%, respectively, for male and females. That's incredible. it increases the risk for premature death. So again, we're not just talking about like a bad feeling, but we're talking about a disposition in life that transforms our minds and our bodies. Like, this is important. And you might be asking yourself, like, okay, Pete, why are you talking about this on your podcast that, has been really aimed towards faith? We're going to get into that, so you don't worry. This study goes on to say, more broadly, lacking social connection can increase the risk for premature death as much as smoking up to 15 cigarettes a day. So remember when we talk about smoking, Surgeon General's warning? Everyone knows smoking's bad. Like, that's the most classic thing that is like bad for your health, smoking cigarettes. Loneliness has a connection of risk of premature death as much as 15 cigarettes a day. I mean, that's bad. That's really bad. I don't need to spell out for how bad it is. I can't even illustrate medically how bad that is. But think about that. That's the risk that loneliness and isolation can have on our bodies. And loneliness is far more than just a bad feeling. It goes on to say it harms both the individual and societal health. It is associated with greater risk of cardiovascular disease, dementia, stroke, depression, anxiety, premature death. And at any moment, about 1 out of every 2 Americans is experiencing measurable levels of loneliness. That's incredible. 1 out of every 2. So half the people in America, the people you see driving, the people you see in the store, at your work, at your church, 1 out of every 2, on average, is experiencing measurable levels of loneliness. So we know how bad this affects our bodies, not just our minds, not just our souls, but it affects our bodies. And 1 out of every 2 of us is experiencing loneliness. So it's important. It's an important issue to address. So that is the seriousness of the issue. That's what the Surgeon General says. Why is this happening in our society? Why are people feeling so lonely and isolated? Now, I'm going to go into my thoughts on it. So this is not the Surgeon General's thoughts. He has some thoughts on why people are feeling lonely. You can read the study. You can look up about it. I'm going to talk, but I can only speak for me. I'm going to speak about my interpretations and some things that I see. I think, number one, people are feeling lonely because of media-driven narratives about the other. Media-driven narratives about why other people are so bad. Think about the division in our society. It's like we may not experience it on a personal level, but all of the stories that are being driven by media outlets are about why the other person is bad or evil or immoral or racist. And when you're put up against with something that's bad or evil, of course you're going to say, well, okay, I don't want anything to do with that. I don't want to be associated with them. So you just naturally hold back and you don't even invest in the other person. Our society's not saying, hey, these people are immoral, let's help them change. They're saying, no, these people are immoral. They need to be outcast. We need to get rid of them. And the funny thing is, no matter where you kind of fall on this side of the spectrum, each side, people who are divided always think the other side is the bad one. When you always believe that you are the moral one. No one wakes up and says hey, how can I be super immoral today? We're always thinking that we're on the most moral side. And that's what's always so ridiculous about political and societal cultural division. Both sides think that they're the moral ones. So political division, societal division, making outcasts of other people, this otherness that we see in other people is a reason. We look at other people as bad and immoral, and we say I don't want anything to do with them. And then we just put them in a box, and we say anything and everything you do is immoral, and I'm not going to associate with that because you're bad. And that causes then isolation. So anyone who thinks like that, anyone who associates with those groups, anyone who has that ideology, I'm not even going to associate with. So boom, half the country I'm just not even going to do anything with. I'm not even going to listen to. I'm just going to automatically assume that you're bad, you're evil. Okay? So all right, off the bat, we just cut out people from our lives just because of what they might think or have a political leaning. All right, that's it. And we feel strongly about that. And then it's supported by the media. It's supported by the powers that be. It's supported by corporations who are saying, yes, like, no, we must outcast people who are immoral. And so, okay, that's it. We're already programmed by society and corporations to say, hey, if you don't agree with them, they're bad. You have nothing to do with them. So that's one reason. I think another reason why we feel super isolated now and why it's getting worse and worse is because of, I'll say, the prevalence of information, particularly on social media, that leads to the comparison of life. Okay, so what, that's a way of saying that we see all these people and things on TV, on social media, and we think like, I want that. I need that. Wow, that's a big house. They just got a new house. Wow, oh, they got a new car. Oh, who's this guy? He looks like he's really successful. Oh, wow, so, this person just became a millionaire. Okay, there's 500 people who are part of this group who are the entrepreneurs of whatever Central Texas, and they're going off to the Hilton and having wow, that looks fun. I wish I was a part of that. And we have all of this information that just is fed to us day after day after day. And it's very easy to fall into comparison. It's very easy to see what other people are doing and then say like, oh wow, a trip to Paris? I want that. I wish I was doing that. When back in the day before social media, you just hear from other people. Just be like, oh, did you hear Timmy? Yeah, he just went down to Mexico. It's like, oh, Mexico, I gotta see some pictures of that. Hopefully he printed out some pictures from the CVS so we can see some pictures of it. Now it's like you're getting real-time information of Timmy down in Mexico, at the bar, then out at, the ocean, then doing this, out to dinner. It's like we're getting real-time information. And that's not always the best thing to have. Real-time information of what everyone else is doing besides me. Wow, look at all those people in the world living life. I'm just scrolling on my phone at home, not doing anything. It's like so easy to fall into comparison. Now, I think social media is a great tool. Obviously, you're watching this on some version of social media. And I think social media is a great tool. As a car honking. I don't know if you can hear it. But social media is a great tool. But remember that like social media and media is not the end purpose. The end purpose is to not have life lived on social media. Social media is just a tool. So when the end goal is, hey, I want to take a trip so I can show everyone my life is so cool on social media, well, I don't know if that's the best thing. And if we're looking on social media, wow, look what everyone else is doing. They're all having so much fun. And then you don't have that, that's gonna lead to a level of loneliness, lead to a level of isolation. Like all these people out there having fun, and I'm seeing it every day, every second, just scrolling down, but usually just scroll up, right? Scrolling and seeing all of these people out in the world living life, and me sitting on my couch, a basketball game on mute in the background, scrolling. You know what I mean? That comparison can lead to levels of loneliness and isolation. I would say another reason why we feel lonely nowadays is, I kind of call it the crushing expectation of success. Like, America, we believe that success is your level of success is your level of worth, is your level of value, and that success is determined by money, by power, and where if you're just like, hey, I'm a very happy kindergarten teacher, I went to Harvard, but I'm just really happy as a kindergarten teacher, people be like, wow, what a waste of talent, what a waste of a degree, We idolize people who are rich, we idolize celebrities, we idolize people who have power. And we have this expectation for ourselves in America that all of us are kind of just on the path to that. That all of us are just like meandering our way towards like incredible wealth and success. And we all have that belief. There's this awesome line in the show West Wing where Martin Sheen's character, the president, he's like, I'm going to paraphrase, but he's like, the disease of Americans is that very few are rich, but all of them think that they're going to be rich. So very few are very rich and wealthy, but all of us believe we're just like a big break away, a big idea away from becoming rich and wealthy, and all of our problems going away. Even though time after time after time, we know that money, power, success, fame doesn't alleviate problems, and that there's very rich people who are like not happy, and we know that, we see that. And I think this kind of crushing need to like live up to societal expectations and not like be looked down upon. Because like, oh, I drive a 2001 Mazda. Like, why is that bad? Why would that be bad? But, if you might be hearing this and say, hey, if you drive a 2001 Mazda, it's like you're kind of like, you're kind of not really, on the super successful side. And like that's kind of, that's not great. Like, it's good, some people don't have a car, but you could have a nicer car. And that's all you have is a nicer car. It means nothing about your identity or value. And so I think that also kind of, I would say this kind of crushing need to prove that you're successful in America can lead to a lot of us feeling isolated, and that you're on this journey just trying to show that you have the next newest best thing, and to level up and try to associate with more and more successful people, and hopefully one day all of the money and power and riches will make my problems go away. And I think that kind of like futile journey can lead to a lot of isolation and loneliness, because I'm not a super rich man financially, but I'm a rich man in life because I have Christ in my life, I have family, I have friends, I have people in my life that care about me. That's a rich man. And we all know people or have heard stories of someone who's very successful, like alone in a penthouse and being like, this is not worth it. I have all of this stuff, no one to share it with. I mean, crushing. That is crushing. Having all of these things and no one to share it with. That is crushing. That can lead to isolation. I've achieved all of the success and no one really cares. People are just maybe having expectations of more success, or people want stuff from me. That's all people care about, is getting their own piece of the pie that I made. So I think that's another reason why people feel isolated in America. And I think the last reason that people can feel isolated is a lack of purpose. There's a lot of lack of purpose out there, and there's a lot of lack of hope. And again, media, social media, government power, capitalism, corporations, they're not saying to you, hey, make sure that you have a purposeful life, that you have a life full of hope. No, they don't say that to you. They say, make sure that you're a productive member of society. Make sure that, you're out here, aligning with the values of America and corporations. And make sure you're aligning with the values that the media is stirring up. And if not, then, you better get out of here. But if like that doesn't have any purpose to it. That just, the end of that is just that you fall into line. And everyone knows when you just like are aligned with something, you don't have a belief in it. If you're just like have an ideology, but you don't know why, that has no purpose to it. And so I think like the lack of purpose and the lack of hope in life can just, I think, like exacerbate all of the hard things or all these other reasons. So if you add on social media, driving isolation, comparison, being a thief of joy, the crushing weight of expectation, political divisions being fortified by media personalities, and then on top of that, hey, and there's no reason to hope, and there's no purpose in this life. It's just nothing. It's just all about trying to, make another dollar for tomorrow. That can just like make things worse. It's just metastasize all of these crazy isolating feelings that we already have. And so I think the lack of purpose in life is a very big reason. And we know that our purpose in Christ and our hope lies in Christ. And that all of that other stuff, division, politics, money, corporations, we know that we believe in the King of Kings. And that our hope is in Jesus, the risen Lord, who came from heaven, became man for us, died for our sins to give us hope to be able to serve him in this life and live with him in the next. Okay, just wanted to get that in though, just wanted to get that point in, that like, there isn't hope out there, purpose, but we know that there is true purpose and hope in Christ. So that's what that's the kind of state of isolation and loneliness in America. That's why I think it's happening. Some reasons why. And then, I want to talk a little bit about like, my experience. So I think, I wanted to level with some loneliness I felt in my life. And, I feel like I've never been particularly someone that's had like incredible loneliness, but there's been some times I've felt some intense loneliness. And I remember when I was like 25, I had just gotten back from some of my volunteer experience, which I talked about with all of you before. I like went to college, then for 2.5 years was like volunteering around the world, and kept in touch with people and saw people in some of the moments in between. But I came back from having all of these crazy experiences and like didn't know where I fit into society, didn't know where I fit into my friend group, didn't know where I fit into like my career. I didn't take advantage of any career opportunities right after college. I didn't take advantage of stuff in the basketball world. I didn't take advantage of stuff in the media world that I had some opportunities. I didn't take advantage of other career opportunities. So I felt like, wait, I'm just like aimlessly like in my career. Then friend groups, it's like friends for 2.5 years, they're living their life. They're graduating college, maybe getting engaged. They're kind of doing their thing. And then coming back to like, wait, where do I fit into how people are doing? You guys have been doing a dinner party, every month for a year now. Y'all are, you moved over to this different town. You moved away. You're moving to a different city. And like, I kind of didn't know where I fit into friend groups. And then for my identity, like I was doing so much and volunteering and then like kind of around the world. And I was back in my home in New Jersey, my hometown, and I felt like I'm just like back here. Like I was just like in Ecuador or Manila or visited Vietnam, all these places. And now I'm like back in my hometown. I was like, and like people cared, but also people don't really, really care. I remember one time it was so striking to me. Like I was telling people at a bar what I was doing this volunteer project. I was telling people at a bar what I was doing overseas with some of my volunteer opportunities, and their eyes were just glazing over. And I was getting that like feeling. They're like, yeah, okay, like please finish up. Like kind of like I don't care. And I was like, wow, I just like gave all this time to like volunteering and trying to help people, and for like years of my life, like prime years of my life, I gave up. And like it's just leading to a conversation which is just like glazing over people's eyes. And I was like, dang, like that was an isolating feeling for me. So when I was like 25, again, a few years out of college, I felt kind of isolated. I didn't know, I felt lonely. I felt like I don't even know where I fit in right now. And I felt like I don't know how I'm going to like kick back into society, to friend groups, to getting, back in the swing of things. And I felt lonely sometimes. Like I didn't know how to tap into, social things. I felt like I had lost some of my like groove of friends, family, work, career. So I was like, I definitely experienced some intense loneliness where I would just like be in my room and be like, like I used to hang out or go to places with people, and now that's a lot less. People have gotten a little older, and I'm feeling like, I don't know how I can tap into these friend groups or to any groups anymore. And so that was a time in my life, like a few years after college, like 25, after I came back from volunteering, that I felt lonely. And it was definitely the first time in my life I felt that kind of intense loneliness. And so that was my experience. And I don't know if any of you have experiences like that. For me, we were kind of like maybe feeling alone, feeling like your friend group isn't what it used to be. People moved away, or the groups that you were a part of, they've changed. Because I know that was real for me, where it's like, yeah, people in groups I associated with, people in college, basketball teams, that's gone. Volunteering, those people, they're overseas. Friend groups that I had in New Jersey, they're on to new things or different things, or their commitments are different. So it wasn't just like everyone hanging out all the time. And so all of that led to kind of some loneliness in my life. How then can we help this epidemic? What can we do about loneliness? I think the pandemic made us realize that we all need other people in our lives, and not just like over Zoom. We need like connection. We need to be out with people socially, a part of things, community. So how can we do that? What can we do? I'm going to go over a few ways of which I think we can combat loneliness in ourselves, but also be a part of the solution for our society. Because that's what I think needs to happen, is that not just having taking care of my loneliness by like being involved with groups, but also being a part of society that's like recognizing that people are lonely and isolated, and being a part of the solution to help people not feel so lonely and isolated. So number one, I think volunteer opportunities. Volunteer opportunities for two reasons. One, because it's good to just get out there and do things and just be with other people in a good environment. You're helping people, whether it's a soup kitchen, a food drive, a clothing drive, Habitat for Humanity, Red Cross, Catholic Charities, whatever it is. It's just good vibes. Good to get out, meet other people. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, I'm here for the food drive. Oh yeah, go over there. They're bagging rice. And you're like, okay, is this how I twist the rice bag? People are like, yeah, you're doing a great job. You see them untying it and then retying it. You're like, all right, I can't tie bags of rice. Anyone need to lift anything? I can carry something. It's good to, that's such a silly example of what happens at a soup kitchen. But, it's good to get out and do stuff and meet people in that way. But then also, I think spiritually, why volunteer opportunities are very good is because when you help other people and you put the attention on other people, it takes the ego away from ourselves. We put our attention on other people so we stop thinking about ourselves. Because when we think about ourselves and when we're at the center of our universe, and when the spotlight is always on us, and when our mind is only consumed with just us and how everything's affecting us, and why everything is bad for us, or why I feel lonely, it can be hard to take that attention off of ourselves. You can try to distract yourself. Maybe you work out or something, or you go for a run. But how do you actually take the attention off of yourself? By helping other people. So volunteering is a great way to take the attention off of ourselves, shine at other people, and when we do that, when we help other people, it builds us up. So it builds up our self-esteem by helping other people. When we help other people, it builds up our self-esteem. And then when we have a built-up self-esteem, that's easier for us to not look inward on ourselves. And I think the attention that we give to other people is always worth it. It's that's part of the call. That's part of the call of loving Christ. That's part of the call of, our mission is that we help each other. So not only is it good to meet people by volunteering, not only does it help take the attention off of ourselves and build our self-esteem, but volunteering, it's good to be a part of a society where others help others. And that's not where we're at now. We say the others are bad, I'm good, let me get as much as I can to protect myself from all the others who are bad. And this otherhood, this otherness, that's bad. When we look at other people as bad or evil or immoral or, oh wow, those other people, they're the bad ones, not me. Volunteer, and charity work can really help us combat that and can really help, help us be a part of a society where people helping people. So I think volunteering is a great way to combat loneliness, great way to get involved, and a great way to not feel so isolated. So what's another way? I think another way is a little more abstract. I think another way to help is by being the first to act. Be a person who's the first to do something. Be the person that extends your hands for a handshake first. Be the person who asks the name of another person first. Be the person who raises their hand first to volunteer for something. Be the person who makes it a point to include others. Be the person who opens the circle to someone else. Be the person who recognizes that someone needs help and you say, I will go out and I'll ask them how they're doing. Be that person who doesn't listen to that voice which says, don't help that person. Don't say hi. Don't even, it doesn't matter what you do to this person. You don't know them. Who cares? Just protect yourself at all costs. Don't listen to that voice. Be the person who acts first. I feel like as a society, we're very, we always are giving ourselves, reasons to not, be with each other or say hi, or we have to say, oh, I don't know that guy, or I think I saw that guy, at the gym. I won't say hi, whatever. We always kind of, shy away from people. And we all know how powerful that invitation is when someone says something first. Hey, how you doing? Oh, I saw you at the gym. Or, hey, I noticed you were over there. Why don't you come join our group? Or, hey, do you want to have lunch with us? That's a powerful invitation that can really, change that feeling of isolation. You're eating alone, lunch. Someone says, hey, come eat with us. Well, now you have a group of people that you're with just by an invitation. Because no one's going to go up to someone and say, hey, you mind if I join you guys for lunch? We're so scared to do that. So be the person who acts first. Be the person who reaches out first. Be the person who says, you know what? I'm going to outreach to there. You know what? I'm going to be the one to raise my hand. I'll raise my hand. As America, we're a very like, oh, like I don't want to be first. Let someone else do it. Oh, like let that guy do it. That you look like someone who would help out with this. I'm not. I'm just like a lowly whatever. No. Be the person, guy or girl, who says yes first, who acts first. Okay, so what's another way that we can fight loneliness and isolation? Foster deep relationships and community in your life. Now, I know this is hard. This can be challenging because, like we said, it's not always easy to join groups or join things or to just be the first person to say, hey, I'm starting a group of guys who like to rock climb. Who's with me? No, I don't like to rock climb, so you start your own group. But deep relationships and community. Deep relationships, I think it's very easy to have relationships that are shallow, that are focused on hobbies, that are focused on things we like, and that's good. And, common interest is the basis of all relationships. We both like the same thing. We start talking about it. Hey, you're a pretty cool guy. Oh, you like them too? Okay, hey, what else do you like? Do you like basketball? Do you like, hockey? Oh, okay. But deep relationships that are centered on accountability, that are centered on helping each other, not just saying, hey, like, will you help me move if I move? But hey, will you help me through a tough time? Can I call you? And will you be there to listen to me, to give me advice when I'm having a tough time? That is going to come. Tough times in life, in school, in work, in marriage, in jobs are going to come. And people that can help us through it make all the difference. Imagine if you're having imagine you're a guy and you're dating a girl and you want to get married and you're, saying, hey, I'm trying to discern my vocation. I'm trying to understand if I should marry this girl. We've had a couple arguments. I don't really know. I feel like I don't know how to go through this. And you have no one to call. You want to be able to bounce some ideas off someone, but you can't call anyone. So you just try to figure out maybe with the girl, and then that leads to an argument and you break up. Well, like bouncing ideas off of a friend who can give you advice, who can see the situation from a third-party perspective is very powerful. And then also hold us accountable. We all need accountability in our lives. This idea that, hey, no one can tell me what to do anytime is just like not freedom. That's not what life's about. Having people in our lives, though, that that hold us accountable and that can help us along the way in the path, that's important. That can help isolating feelings. When you have people that you can rely on, that are there for you, that share the same values of you, like you, that want you to succeed, that's not just based on like appearances or image and, hey, I like you because you can do something for me. No. That's not what friendship's about. That's not what deep relationships are about. Not just, hey, I'm around you because you can help me out maybe down the road. Or I'm around you because I want to like grab a piece of the cloth and hopefully something good will happen to me. No, that's not deep relationship, Collaboration is not deep relationship. Deep relationship is having people in our lives who know what we're all about, share the same values, and then also want to see us succeed. And ultimately, Christ-centered relationships are the thing that we can anchor all of our good times, all of our bad times, all of our struggles. We can anchor onto that and know that Jesus is our hope. And other people can help us along the way to point us to that hope in Christ. So, brothers and sisters, that was a way that Paul, spoke to people in our communities, in the early communities, brothers and sisters. So it's like that relationship that we have when it's centered on Christ, that's deep. That's like a brother and sister bond. And so those people in our life that can help point us to the hope in Christ, help point us to a way to draw deeper into Christ, that is going to help then through hard times, good times, feelings of loneliness, and we can fight loneliness and isolation because say, hey, I have people that not only are there for me, but care about me and are trying to draw me deeper to Christ. Like, what more can you have out of a relationship? And then I think on the community side of it, we need to have communities that are open, that are ready to grow, ready to invite people, not just communities that are serving me and serving my friend needs, but like serving and being open to serving other people. I think it's very easy to be in communities and say, hey, like, this is our group. This is how it's set. We like this number. We have good vibes with these numbers. Let's not really include other people. Might throw the numbers off. Might throw the chair situation off. We got like the right amount of chairs for everyone. If we invite 10 more people, I don't know where everyone's gonna sit. So it's best just to stay put with the numbers we have here. Like, how easy is it to be a part of a group or community and just like have that type of thinking like fall into our minds? Where would everyone sit? Where would everyone park? These are real excuses that we give ourselves as to why not to invite more people. But again, remember how powerful an invitation can be. Invitations are powerful. And if we invite people to things, our communities need to be strong to be places that can be open for people to learn more about our groups, learn more about Christ, and learn more about why deep relationships matter and communities matter. So like if you get invited to something and you're feeling lonely, you're one of these numbers and statistics that you're a lonely guy or girl, and you move to a new city for a job and you're trying to tap into people, you're trying to meet people, make friends, and you get invited to a group, and speaking to us Christians out there, and it's a Christian group, and then this person goes to this group and all people are in cliques and not talking, and this person just sitting in the back being like, well, like, I don't know, I don't know anyone here, seems like everyone's kind of got their friend group set, I don't know, I'm not gonna join this, I'm just not gonna be a part of this. Wow, like what a missed opportunity. We need to like go out, act first, give invitations, meet people, ask for their information, invite them to things, and be that person who kind of helps, keep our communities open for people. Because again, like then the deep relationships are part of a greater community, and these greater communities can help foster like purpose that we were talking about that people are missing. It helps foster life that is full, not just isolating. Hey, I wake up, I go to work, I come home, I watch TV, I wake up, I go to work, I come home, I watch TV, now it's the weekend. No. A life that is full, filled with friends, filled with family, filled with purpose, filled with hope in that like our life in Christ is awesome, fun, and exciting. Then I think the last way that we can fight loneliness and isolation is a mindset shift. A mindset shift towards gratitude. I think gratitude is a great way it can shift our perspective, bring hope into our life, and it increases our awareness of the good things in our life, and then allows us to be grateful for the good things in our life, but also be grateful to know that like, hey, like I have my health, I have my my life, I have good things in my life. Okay, maybe it's not as bad as I'm thinking it is, and it'll allow me to shake off these feelings of isolation to maybe then go join a group or to take that person up on the invitation to come to a men's group or something. So it's like gratitude can be a great mindset to just have in life, and that like all the good things in our life come from Christ, and that we're grateful for that. We're grateful for all the things, the good, the bad, but we're grateful that we are alive and that Christ is our hope. So it's like our gratitude and that Christ is our hope allows us then to go about our life, to get over the challenges, to give us peace, and then to find the groups, to join communities, to foster deep relationships because we're grateful for our lives. So that last one's kind of like a mindset I think that I try to have, which is a mindset of gratitude. Having my attitude be one that is like, hey, I'm just grateful for the things that I have, and that like I know that Christ is in control of my life, and I can be grateful for that, and I can find peace in that. That's it for today. I'd really love to hear your guys' feedback on this episode, like loneliness, feelings of isolation. I want to hear about your experiences. I want to hear about your experiences both in loneliness, but also your experiences in community, in deep relationships. I want to hear how important deep relationships are for you. I want to hear anytime you felt lonely and what took you out of that, or maybe why you're feeling lonely particularly. I think this is something we need to address. I think it's a symptom. I think loneliness is a symptom of our broken society, and I think Christ is the answer. I gave a lot of very practical reasons why we're lonely, and I give some practical reasons how we can fight it. But I also think that's an entry point for then a deep life with Christ, and where we can get into deeper theology or deeper positions of following Christ. But like if you're feeling super, super lonely, you can't just say to someone, hey, make sure you're just praying more and that'll kick it. It's like, no, there are some practical steps we need to take to fight loneliness. And then we know then life with Christ is so good that like that can then be then the second dose to help this like epidemic of loneliness. So thank you all for listening. I appreciate it very much. like, subscribe, social media, podcast, wherever you're listening to this, wherever you're watching to this. I'll talk to y'all soon. Peace.